just got the first copy of my book.
Prior to entry, and be hosted by Legal Immigration Services.
Hi, how are you? It's Brett Miller here from Legal.
Fantastic service, fantastic.
Always recommend me.
Hey guys, Brennan Miller here. I just wanted to do a really quick video on, yes, taxes. I know we all hate taxes, but this is a question I get, especially from a lot of my American clients, and I wanted to address it. Now, before I dive into this, I want to say a few things. First off, I'm an immigration professional and I'm not a tax professional, so a lot of the information that I'm providing here is very general in nature. Yeah, I know, a lot of the boring legal stuff, but I had to put it out there because I don't want to put myself out there as a tax professional. I'm smart enough to actually go out and get a proper accountant to advise me on this stuff, and so should you. Cross-border tax issues are very, very complex and they're very personalized, so make sure that you get somebody who's competent in dealing with cross-border tax issues, okay? Now, with that said, I'm gonna talk in generality. I did get this from somebody who is a tax professional, and yeah, so I'm gonna just give you a few things here. So, differences in the tax systems. Let's talk about that. Canada is based on your residency. And what this means is are you a resident for tax purposes, right? So for instance, in Canada, I lived overseas for a number of years and I was able to file non-residency, which means I actually effectively wasn't paying taxes for a number of years because I wasn't living here. I was classified as a non-resident. The US is very different in that because it's based on residency and citizenship. And you're taxed on your income worldwide. So this is a huge difference between the Canadian and American tax systems. The Canadian tax guy doesn't follow you around, whereas the American tax man certainly does, all right? So if you're living in Canada anywhere else, you know, that's something to consider. Now, I will tell you this, and this is a very, very common question that we get, is that taxes, there are tax treaties between Canada and the US, and those tax treaties, and other countries as well, but those tax treaties allow for you not to be double taxed, and in fact what's going to happen is that you're going to pay the difference of the taxes to the country where you are going to owe more or whatnot, okay? So where are your taxes going? So in Canada, we use our taxes for things like education, schools, healthcare, hospitals, things like this, libraries, parks, arenas, all those different things. Police, ambulance, economic development. We also have some really good social programs, old age security, employment insurance, child benefit insurance, etc., etc. Okay? In the US, very similar, Social Security, Medicare, defense, international security, safety net programs of interest, things like that. All right? So they're pretty much the same in that respect. Now, who is a resident for tax purposes in Canada? So this is what I was alluding to before. CRA considers significant and residential ties to determine an individual's residency status. So basically significant ties are owning a home, having a spouse or partner, having dependents in Canada, things like that. Those are very significant. Residential ties, owning a personal property in Canada, social or economic ties to Canada, Canadian driver's license, passport, health insurance, all of these different things. So there's a test that goes through in the tax department to find out if actually you're a resident here, and they're looking at your ties to the country. That's very huge. Anyone who is in Canada for 183 days or more a year may be considered a resident for tax purposes. So that's huge. Now, I'm going to dive into the double taxation again. I alluded to it at the beginning of this, and I want to talk about it because this is actually a really common question that we get with respect to that. So, you can avoid being double taxed because there's a treaty in place, okay? Not only between Canada and the US, but other countries. But in the Canadian and US context, both countries allow credits to be taken on income tax returns for taxes paid in other countries, okay? That's huge. The US-Canada tax treaty exempts a US citizen from being taxed by the US on income earned and taxed in Canada. When you're obligated to pay the taxes on the same income, double taxation is limited on tax returns. A US citizen can claim foreign tax credit for taxes paid on US income and reported on the Canadian tax return. pretty much the same thing. Generally, with the higher tax rates in Canada, you can use US tax owed in the US to offset some of your Canadian taxes, okay? So, long and the short of it is, there's tax treaties and there's mechanisms in place, but please go get some professional advice, specifically with somebody who understands cross-border issues and those tax treaties, because I'm telling you, it's a very niche area. And the other thing I want to tell you is, and from my understanding, the penalties for non-compliance in these areas tend to be pretty steep, okay? So you got to make sure that you have all this stuff worked out and ahead of time, okay? So make sure you do a little bit more research on that. US citizen and residents that are working in Canada. So non-residents is required to pay Canadian tax on Canadian sources of income. So let's leave it at that. If you have any questions or anything with respect to taxes, I would say reach out to me normally, but don't in that respect. But seriously, you can reach out and I can actually put you in touch with some different tax professionals that we know and we would like to suggest that you have a chat with. I'm not the person to advise you on taxes, but I can certainly advise you on an immigration context. And again, this is something that we get all the time. So I wanted to throw it out there. By all means, please feel free to contact us if you have any questions. More than happy to help. And if we're not able to answer the question, we'll put you in touch with a professional who can. Other than that, don't forget to like, subscribe, turn on notifications, put your comments below. And if you have any questions, we're here to help. Look forward to speaking with you soon, guys. Take care and hope you enjoyed the taxes.